Martha Fullington, and I've been at All Souls since 1988, which is a long time. I've been involved in just about everything and enjoyed it all. The Episcopal Peace Fellowship is an important part of my comings and goings here at All Souls. In 2003, when the Iraq invasion happened, adjunct clergy, along with, at the time, Leslie Ford, decided to start a peace vigil on the front lawn. And we would hold up a sign that says Vigil for Peace, and we had other signs that said Peace and Justice. And it was just a way for us to gather every Sunday afternoon for half an hour and be together quietly praying for peace. And people would ride by and they would be happy to see our presence there, and you would see thumbs up, you'd hear honks and waves, but you felt like it was important for All Souls to have a statement about what was going on in the world. At the time, Mason Wilson, who was one of our adjunct clergy, Mason was leading the Peace Fellowship, and he was adamant to say, how can we follow the Prince of Peace and not be active in pursuing peace? I'd say a couple of things that are meaningful to me. One is being able to work alongside of others as we strive for peace and justice, whether you're shoulder to shoulder holding up the peace banner on the front lawn, or one of the things that the Peace Fellowship does is sponsor the food drive twice a year. And getting out those bags, which we designed, that say Feeding All Souls, working on that together and seeing all the parishioners participate in bringing food. You feel like it starts here, but then all the parish participates. And then also in living into the fact that we're the cathedral, we also bring in other churches to participate in that food drive, which I think is important, because some churches are too small to organize their own food drives and order the bags and get the food dispersed properly and so forth. So for us to invite other smaller parishes to join us, to me, really is part of our cathedral challenge. So I feel like the Episcopal Peace Fellowship lets you do that on all levels. For me personally, it's really important because I'm a peacenik. And so for me to have a way to do something that is meaningful through this church is really important. I was baptized when I was 9 years old without a baptismal covenant. And now that there is a baptismal covenant, I think it's pretty important to live into those words. And so to strive for peace and justice always just hits me strong when we renew our baptismal vows. And so personally, that's my most important involvement with the Episcopal Peace Fellowship. And I wish that other people would enjoy that too. The food drive has been a big hit. And it all started, we knew that other churches did these things, and so Trinity gave me the idea of the food bag, and we found out who could help us mass produce them. And so to design it with our cross from on top of the church, which is always All Souls, and then the bags themselves say Feeding All Souls, with the all basically underlined and italicized and bold and everything. What we do is we collect food primarily for two organizations, Loving Food Resources, which was founded here at All Souls back in the late 70s, and that provides food and meals for people who are either have HIV/AIDS or are in hospice care with any ailment. Sometimes medications take so much of their income that food and sundries for the family are a burden. And so we give to Loving Food Resources one food drive, and then the other food drive we give to Children First, which is a Buncombe County organization to make sure that the school children and their families have adequate food. It amazes me that we collect tons of food each time. You know, like 1, 2, even 3 tons of food have come in. And it's so exciting on Sundays to see people coming across the lawn trying to lug their blue bags because they have bought everything on the list. And so they have all of the heavy canned goods and maybe a bag of coffee or a thing of diapers on top to lighten the load. But I just love seeing people bringing their bags in. So we're going to be out there with our Vigil for Peace banner from the middle of September until the Sunday before elections, which is November the 4th. so they can join us, help hold the banner, be out there in silence to hope for peace and justice with this election. I think All Souls has always been on the cutting edge of meeting the needs. And I think that goes back to our founding, the naming of our church, the fact that George Vanderbilt gave us the name All Souls to be inclusive. I think from the get-go we were challenged to embrace everybody. And so I think just our very name starts our community involvement. I think the fact that the very first rector who came to All Souls, Rodney Rush Swope, his main background was social justice and religion. He fought for prisoners at a time when that was not a big deal. Those are the kind of bars that were set here at All Souls for us to strive to maintain. And so we've always tried to reach out and do the harder things. And I think striving for peace and justice, it is a hard thing to do. Not everybody's going to be on the bandwagon, but that's where we need to be if we're going to follow the Prince of Peace, as Mason always said. There's a spot in Ephesians where we're reminded to be kind and tender-hearted one to another. And I think that helps you seek peace every day and in every step of it.